everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Muriel, and I'm going to go ahead and say As Told by Muriel because I'm actually changing the name back. I had an order on in my Etsy store for one of my booklets from one of my subscribers. Hey Reese, thank you for your order. And I realized on my cards that I actually have on my contact information, I actually have my YouTube channel As Told by Muriel, and I was like, dang, let me go back to As Told by Muriel. So y'all excuse me, I just ran up those steps. Whew. As promised, I'm back to you with another video, giving you an update on my contract. I am beginning my third week of my travel contract. So what I will say is I love it, y'all. I love it. I wish I would have done it sooner, which I did do long-term care travel, and I was excited about that. I love that. I wish I would have, well, I can't say I wish I would have done acute travel sooner because y'all know I didn't like acute care and I wasn't gung-ho about doing it into those numbers. Like I was seeing those numbers in those Facebook groups, seeing people paying off debt. Like that was my main thing, paying off debt. It wasn't the cars, it wasn't the clothes, it wasn't the bag. I'm not that girl. No shade to whoever is. I'm not the car. I'm not the handbags. I'm not that girl. I do like cute things, but I like cute, inexpensive things. Like for instance, my nails are press-ons, $3 to $5 from Dollar General. My jewelry is normally I buy paparazzi jewelry from my mother. She's a paparazzi seller, so that's where I got these bracelets from. And look how cute they are, y'all. Like $5 per bracelet. Earrings from Shein. I think these might have been $2.99. Other earrings in the front from the local hair store, they might have been $4.99. Y'all, I'm not that I don't like to spend a lot of money. Lashes done by me, just the strips. I have a lash girl that I buy my lashes from, and they are very good quality. They last a long time. I think the most amount of money I spend on anything is probably my wigs, to be honest. I don't like to spend a lot of money on clothes. I don't like to spend a lot of money on shoes. I'm that, if I can find a cute little pair. I'm a sandals girl. I don't like sneakers. I wear sneakers to work only. Outside of work, I don't wear sneakers. I'm a flip-flop all year long if I could be type of girl. If I do spend, like I said, if I do spend a lot of money on a thing, it probably will be my wigs and home supplies. Like I'm that type of, like I'll buy things for the house that cost not a lot, but I'll spend on my house. But I'm not that girl. But anyway, I will see people in those Facebook groups, that bought the brand new car. And I was like, one day I'm gonna go take a travel assignment. So y'all know I did take a travel assignment. Y'all, I love it. So let me tell you about my facility without giving the name of my facility. Trauma level 3 facility, which means the acuity of the patients are really not as acute as where I come from. I did some research on the facility in nurse travel groups on Facebook, but when you look on Google at reviews and things, it's coming from the patients. But I wanted to know about the facility coming from a travel nurse aspect, because they will tell you the real tea. And even with that, you can't actually take everything they say as the gospel, because what some people are not trained and willing to, can't deal with, others can. So coming from the facility where I came from, y'all, like I said, that facility, anybody in this area know, if you work that floor that I work, you are trained. You are what the young kids say, TTG, you trained to go, because that facility, that floor is a beast. And that is the floor I got my training on. And let me tell you, they more than prepared me for this travel assignment. I started looking at Facebook groups to see like what people had to say about the facility. And even when they sent me my contract and told me about facility, they told me I could have a potential of 6 patients plus or minus 1. So that means I could have up to 7 patients. Okay, level 3, I was thinking I can do this because I do 6 patients on level 1. So 7, I'm good. They told me they have a RT staff, they have a phlebotomy staff, all that. So I was like, good, that's like my facility. They use Epic. I was like, good, that's like my facility. So I'm good to go. Like, as far as nursing, I got the nursing part. So when I got to this facility, I realized every system, even if it's the same, is not the same. They utilize Epic, but their Epic is not totally different than our Epic. I don't think their Epic has as much as our Epic. And I think what it is hospitals purchase different versions, or they purchase, like, there's different levels and they purchase certain levels. And I think where I came from, they must have purchased a higher level or whatever, if you understand what I'm saying. Because where I come from, I can do everything off of my brain, and I had gotten so accustomed to doing everything off of my brain. I didn't do much off the work list. I didn't do much off the sidebar summary. I didn't do really anything from those areas. I did everything from my brain as far as hands-on care. I still go to my notes to read all the notes on the patient to see what was going on with them from admission all the way to their current date. I still look at the labs. I go to results or results review to look at the labs. But on their Epic, I can't do everything from the brain. Like, they don't have, everything doesn't pop up on their brain like on our brain. So my brain, on our Epic brain, where the facility I came from, your neural checks, your tele assessments, everything, your in and out caths, your bladders, everything that you have to do for that patient is on your brain. All your assessment, everything you can chart straight from the brain. And when your brain is clear for the day, you know you've done everything with that patient as far as hands-on. Now, you may not have looked at the lab values and stuff and addressed those, but you can just go look at result review and see that. But your blood sugars, all that pops up on the brain. All new orders pops up on the brain. Everything popped up on the brain. So I really never had to go into anything else to do my documentation outside of the brain. Here, you have to go outside of the brain in order to do some documentation. All your assessment doesn't show up on the brain. I haven't worked the tele floor yet, even though I'm used to tele from where I come from, but I haven't been on a tele floor. Their tele is only on their CCU units or PCU units. They don't have tele on their medical surgical units, so that I've seen so far. But their neuro assessments, their tele assessments, their CY, it's not on their brain. So you actually have to go into the flow sheets and document that. Like, you have to actually go to flow sheets. They have this thing called Anywhere RN. And I don't know if that's a part of Epic, but I tried utilizing it the first day I was on that floor, and it's a no for me. I don't like it. I just don't like it. So I still do my medication from the brain. I still write down my medications, because you'll go to the Omnicell. They use Omnicell. This is my first time doing Omnicell. You'll go to the Omnicell, and they won't have all the medication in the Omnicell, but it's not that you have to, and they won't have it all in the Omnicell. You go to their bin, it's not in the bin. You don't really request it from pharmacy. Sometimes pharmacy just sends up the meds, like daily. They'll send up what's due, which they did that kind of in my hospital too. But I don't know. It just seemed a little different. I don't know because like at my facility, if a med isn't in the Pyxis, we use Pyxis. I believe we use Pyxis. I don't know. If the med wasn't in the Pyxis, it'll be grayed out in the Pyxis. But in their Omnicell, it's not grayed out. On one floor, we had to go to 2 separate Omnicells on the same floor. It was like one of their pop-up units. And we had to go to 2 different Omnicells. So I would go to this Omnicell, and it'd be some of the patient's meds. And I had to go to this other one, and it would be the rest of the patient's meds. When it's a narcotic that's not in the Pyxis, you have to actually order it from pharmacy, and then you have to sign for it. I guess that's kind of similar a little to what happened on my floor, although most of the narcs are in the Pyxis on the floor I came from. So that was a little different. When I read one of the reviews from one of the travel nurses, they mentioned how you'll get pulled from one floor to another in the middle of your shift. Now I was like, well, not in the, we're in the middle of your shift or whatever time they'll pull you. And that happened to me. That happened to me on my fifth shift. I actually got floated to another unit at 3 p.m. That kind of, so that taught me to make sure I have all my documentation that's due up until 3 p.m. Make sure all my documentation is done up until that point, because you could get floated. You could get floated at any time. I'm guessing you could get floated at 11, you get floated at 3. And I got floated to another unit, and so I had a whole new group of patients. I only had 4 patients, but that was because the 5th room was empty. And so I made a note of it. I didn't do my nurse handout, but I made a note of it to go into each patient note and type a note, assume care of this patient at 15:05 or whatever time I assume care of the patient, because I'm coming up here at 3 o'clock. I get off at 7. I don't know what y'all really expect me to do other than get the 5-6 o'clock meds, do the blood sugars, and just make sure that the patient is still remains stable until 7 o'clock gets there. I don't really know what else you can expect me to do in those 4 hours other than get a report from the nurse. I don't really have time to really read through all the notes like I could if I had this patient since the beginning of the morning. And with that, I had a patient who actually had to get transferred. Within those 4 hours, they had to go from the medical surgical unit to a cardiac unit. And when I came in and assessed that patient, as far as looked at the labs that I could look up, because the patient was in pretty bad shape, the cardiologist came and talked to the patient. I knew that this wasn't the floor for them, because I knew with all this patient had going on, they needed their heart rhythms to be monitored. And sure enough, they transferred the patient to a tele floor. And with that, when a patient is going to a higher level of care, which is like at my facility too, their nurse has to accompany the patient for the transport. But they don't use transport as far as calling transport to come pick the patient up. When the patient is going to a higher level of care, the nurse and the tech has to take the patient off the floor. So I was like, okay, that's different. I don't mind going with the patient, but I would have thought that transport would have been there to help me assist with, because I'm not really used to moving beds like that. I mean, I go with patients to procedures and stuff when they can't go unmonitored meaning they don't need to be on their tele machine, but he's coming from an unmonitored floor, so he wasn't monitored anyway. But at my facility, if you are monitored and your doctor doesn't give you an order that they can go unmonitored, you as the nurse have to go. Now, 9 times out of 10, well, I'm going to say 7 out of 10 times, the doctor will give the order saying they can be unmonitored. If they are monitored, we have to take them off the tele machine, because that belongs to the floor, and put them on this thing called a Zoll. And it's a 3-lead machine that monitors their heart. And there was a new admission that came. Like, say I would have got a new admission to that new room. I mean, what's the chances of me being able to complete that admission? Because I'm just learning. I'm just getting these patients at 3 o'clock. I'm just getting in here. First set of meds are going to be blood sugars and stuff. Going to be due at like 4:30. But anyway, so that happened. I ended up getting flown to a new unit. I didn't fret. I didn't complain. I didn't do any of that, honey. The unit I was on, I had 2 discharges. I only started with 4 patients. 2 of them were discharging. So I would only have 2 patients for the rest of those 4 hours. I gave a report to the nurses who were taking over those 2 patients, and I politely walked my happy tail up there to that elevator and got on that floor, because in my mind I was saying, girl, they paying you well for this. Whenever I get flustered over whatever, like, it's really not a bad facility. The level of care is not high. The only thing that really kind of had me flustered was learning their system. It wasn't providing care. It was learning their system. Their system is a lot different. Like, where I came from to communicate with the doctors, we did telemedic, which is an online like messaging thing. You just message the doctor. Here they use a Volt phone. And this phone, when you put your assignment in, every team care member that is assigned to your patient, you can get them on this Volt phone. And so that's how we message the doctor back and forth. And it makes a sound, like there's one sound for a message, there's one sound for when a patient is getting out of bed in the room, the bed alarms or whatever in the room it alarms in your phone. There's another alarm. There's another sound. Like, it's different sounds for everything. And I kept hearing different noises throughout the day, and I wasn't realizing, okay, this is an alarm for a bed. This is something that a message is coming through. Like, your case manager, all of them are in that Vote phone. Anybody, the phlebotomist, everybody is in that Vote phone who is attending to your patient. So that just took a little getting used to. It took me about 2 shifts to get used to that. So far, I've worked 3 different units. I am a part of their float pool. I have a home unit, but I'm actually a part of their float pool. So every day that I go into work, I call to find out what floor I'm going on, because they have a bunch of pop-up floors, like med-surg floors, because they were getting so many patients, and the census is so high till they ran out of beds, so they made pop-up units. So one of the pop-up units is all the way over here, and another pop-up unit is all the way over there, and another one's all the way. And so I call every morning to find out where I'm going, so I'll know, so I can go directly where I need to go. All the nurses, there aren't as many staff nurses as travelers, I say it's about 50-50 with the travelers, the staff. They have a lot of local travel nurses who live in the area, but they get paid a higher rate, but they don't get the stipend because they live in the area, but they get paid a higher rate, which we have that here where I live as well. And I kind of I don't have a problem with anybody. I get along. I ask questions. Like that first day I was there, I had so many questions, and I just thanked everybody. Thank you for helping me today. Thank you for helping me. They were like, no problem, no problem. I think they were just happy that I did know basics of nursing care. I wasn't one of those ones coming in that was going to be like, oh, how do you do this? One other thing they have different, they use, I don't even know the name of the pumps. We use Alaris where I come from. They use a whole different pump. At first I was like, it's confusing, but I actually like the pump. When you scan the medication, you scan a barcode on the pump and you hit send details, and every detail of how that medication is supposed to be delivered is actually sent to the pump. So you don't have to manually set the pump with the rate, the volume, and all. You don't have to do that. I love that. I love it now. There's a channel A and a channel B. So if you have your channel A set for whatever their continuous fluids is, and then you put on a hanger IV piggyback for channel B, the pump will automatically, like a Lars pumps does, it automatically stops the B when it's complete and goes back over to A. But the thing is, I don't have to manually input anything. I don't have to go through and select vancomycin, cefepime, citroxin. I don't have to go in and manually select any of that. I haven't had a heparin drip yet. I don't know if they have heparin drips on the floors that I work, because I don't know. I haven't seen a heparin drip. They have protocols where you have to get a second sign for all insulins administered. That is kind of annoying, because every time I have to do a blood sugar, every time I have to administer insulin, I have to get a second nurse to second sign, dual sign with me. Even if it's the scheduled insulin that the pharmacy sends up pre-made, pre-pulled, like the Lantus or any insulin, I have to get a second sign. And that's kind of aggravating, because you can find a nurse to come in the room with you and scan the patient, and they got to watch you administer it then, or you can go scan the patient and you come find a nurse to go back in the room with you. They got to watch you, do all that. And it just and then any Lovenox that is greater than 40 milligrams, you got to get a second sign with a nurse. Any heparin that is greater than 5,000 units, you got to get a heparin sign with a nurse. So yeah, it's a lot, a back and forth. Like say the first day I had 4 patients that were blood sugars. They were AC and HS. And some of them got scheduled insulin, y'all. I was back, and it was only 2 nurses. It was only 2 of us that day, because it was a pop-up unit that only held like 12 beds. Y'all, we were back and forth with each other. Can you come in here, Stan? Can you? Like, it was aggravating, and it was a lot of PPE wearing on that floor, because almost out of the 12 patients, there were probably like 6 positive COVID, and it was just annoying that first day. But I kept telling myself, girl, you're getting paid. Now, let me tell y'all about Payday. Y'all, when that pay hit, something told me the pay was going to hit early. We supposed to get paid on Fridays. Someone was telling me pay was going to hit early. So when I went and I checked my bank account Thursday, I checked it after 3 p.m. Y'all, when I saw that pay, y'all, I didn't know. It was like, did you really make this? Did you really get paid this for 3 days of work? Did you really make all this money for 3 days of work? You're not stressed. You don't feel like you've been scammed, because I started feeling like I was scammed at my other job, with the money they were paying. You're not feeling like overwhelmed. You're not coming in every day feeling like you want to quit. Something about knowing you're getting paid so well makes you go through certain obstacles that you would have given up on long ago. Like, y'all don't know how many times I wanted to quit when I went back to acute care. How many times I wanted to quit since I've been back, and I've only been back 6 months. I wanted to quit so much, but I knew I was doing it for a purpose. I had intentional reasons for going back, and it paid off, y'all. When I got that pay, and then I told myself, and girl, you're gonna be getting this for the next 13 weeks. Girl, that was a good feeling. So now I be excited to go to work every day. Them people don't have to worry about me calling out. I would have to be limp and lame to miss a day of work. And then something about getting paid every week, and I've been getting paid every week because I've done travel before, long-term care, and I'm used to getting paid every week. And then I did local agencies, but something about getting all that money every week, y'all. I can see me traveling for the next few years. Being in them Facebook groups, seeing them people spending all that money and just getting all these. Y'all just gotta be mindful to not. I'm not gonna be that girl, y'all. I'm not gonna be that girl. But it's so to just know you getting that money every week, y'all. But I'm being smart, y'all. I got a planner. I went and bought me a planner from Walmart, y'all. It's so pretty. Look at the colors. It's so pretty. I've already got planned like my pay for next week, what I'm doing with my pay for next week. My goal is to save. So financially, if everything goes well, I'll be sitting pretty decent financially at the end of this contract. My goal, what I'm making now in, I'll say 2 weeks, is 2 weeks. What I'm making now in 2 weeks is more than I was making for the full month that I've been working for the last year, really. So my goal is to pay my current bills off with my first 2 checks of the week, and to bank at least 75% of my last 2 checks every month. That is my goal. Can I stick with it? Yeah, of course. I like I said earlier, I'm not that type of girl that spend a lot of money on things. So I will be doing things with my house. Like, I need a new door. I'm gonna get a new door put up. I want to take the carpet up off my floors in my bedroom and put some probably some vinyl tile planks down. I'm gonna get my steps redone in my house, but I'm gonna do some renovations in my home. So that's how my first week has been, y'all. It's been real good. It's been real good. As far as the job that I was working, that other acute care job, y'all, I was struggling with letting it go. I had to let it go, y'all. There was no way I was going to be able to work there's no way I was going to be able to do 5 12-hour shifts. No way. So, especially with that other job, the one that I came from, being so stressful, I can't do that. So I'm going to try to pick up overtime with my agency job, my travel job. If I'm not able to do overtime there, then I'll stay with working some shifts at the long-term care facilities, because y'all know that's where my peace is. That's where my peace of mind is. And eventually, when all of this is over with this traveling and getting all this money and all that, I'm going to return permanently to long-term care, permanently part-time to long-term care, because I'm trying to have it where most of my bills will be just about paid off. I will have a good cushion in my savings to where I can just work part-time and be able to maintain and thrive just working part-time. Starting hopefully 2024, I can just go to being a full-time part-time worker. So yeah, guys, I'm Muriel. This is As Told by Muriel. Hopefully this video was pretty, you understand what I'm saying. I'm gonna try not to make it 11 days before I come back to y'all. yeah, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.